Welcome to The Explainer. If you've ever stepped into a boardroom, a planning commission, or maybe a nonprofit committee and felt like everyone around you was speaking a completely different language, well, take a deep breath. You are definitely not alone. Today, we're diving into something super practical, Board Vocabulary 101. Consider this your ultimate survival guide to navigating any board meeting with total confidence. I mean, it's a universally relatable feeling in the boardroom, right? You show up, someone makes a motion, and you just kind of nod like you've been doing this for years. Being totally lost in a sea of bureaucratic jargon while trying to play it cool so no one realizes you're internally panicking. It's practically a rite of passage at this point. But let's be real for a second. When that happens, do you actually know what just went down in that room? The truth is, literally nobody ever hands you a glossary when you first join a board. You're just magically expected to pick it up as you go. Well, today, we are fixing that. We're going to break down the exact terms you need to know to actually understand the mechanics of your meetings. So, here's our roadmap for mastering this new language. First, the basics, then, making decisions, next, keeping order, and finally, official records. Let's dive in. Section 1, the basics, the alphabet of the boardroom. Let's quickly walk through these core elements, because these are the absolute foundational ground rules that govern how an organization operates. First up, the agenda. This is the official list of items up for discussion. And the crucial point here, the agenda acts as a strict boundary. If it's not on here, it generally doesn't get voted on. Next, we've got the bylaws. Think of these as the organization's overarching rulebook for structure and voting, which, by the way, is totally separate from Robert's rules that just handle how the meeting itself runs. And finally, public comment. This is a time-limited section where the public gets to speak and the board listens. But notably, the board typically doesn't respond. Even if someone is up there complaining about the local park ducks for 3 straight minutes, you just sit back and listen. Now, onto a truly critical definition, quorum. This is the minimum number of members who absolutely must be present for the board to legally conduct business. It's usually baked right into those bylaws we just mentioned. Why is this so important? Because it's the ultimate make or break rule. Honestly, if half the board is stuck in traffic, you have no quorum, which means you have no meeting. You simply cannot take official action.
Section 2, making decisions, the action verbs.
So, moving into the actual mechanics of getting things done. The most common action verb you're going to hear is a motion. Basically, a motion is a formal proposal for the board to take action. Like, I make a motion to approve the new community park budget. Now, what's really interesting is that making a motion doesn't actually mean you personally support the idea. Sometimes you just need to officially put the item on the table so the board can finally debate it. And right after a motion drops, you'll almost always hear someone jump in with second. This is just a procedurally required confirmation from another member that a motion is actually worth the room's time to discuss. It's literally just saying, yes, this park budget is worth our time to talk about. It checks a procedural box so the actual debate can kick off. Of course, eventually that debate has to end, and that's when you'll hear someone call the question. This is a formal way to end debate and move straight to a vote. And I promise you, this isn't some personal attack on whoever happens to still be talking. It's actually a highly functional tool used to keep the meeting moving forward efficiently once everything that needs to be said has been said. Now, it is incredibly easy to mix up these next 2 terms, abstain versus recuse. People throw them around interchangeably all the time, but they actually represent 2 very different ways of stepping back from a vote. Let's look closely at recuse first. When you recuse yourself, you are completely removing yourself from the discussion and the vote because of a personal or financial conflict of interest. Like, say your brother's construction firm is bidding on that new community park. Yeah, you need to recuse yourself. Contrast that with abstaining, which is just choosing not to vote, basically saying neither yes nor no. Recusing is the absolutely mandatory move when an item hits just a little too close to home. But hey, sometimes the board just isn't ready to vote at all. That's when an item gets tabled. A tabled motion is simply set aside for a future meeting. So if you hear this, don't panic. A tabled item isn't dead forever, it's merely waiting for the future, pushed to the procedural back burner until everyone has more information, more time, or more clarity. Section 3, keeping order. Your procedural toolkit. And honestly, this is the core focus of today's explainer. We're going to define the key procedural terms used for maintaining order during meetings when things inevitably get a little messy. To actually maintain that order, you really need to know the difference between these 2 phrases. Point of order versus point of clarification. Knowing whether you're calling out a strict rule violation or just asking the room for some help is absolutely critical.
So let's look at a point of order. Think of this as a massive red flag that something in the meeting isn't following the rules. In your head, picture this as an emergency brake that literally any member can pull. You raise it immediately. You don't even wait to be recognized by the chair. The chair then has to rule on it immediately to restore order, and then the meeting can move on.
On the flip side, we have a point of clarification. This is just the request to better understand a motion, a procedure, or a specific term being used. Keep in mind, this is strictly a question to aid your understanding of the proceedings. It is absolutely not a sneaky debate tactic to argue your side of the issue.
Rounding out our toolkit, we have the tools for pausing and stopping. A recess is just what it sounds like. A short break. Grab a coffee, stretch your legs, and the meeting resumes right after. But contrast that quick breather with adjourn, which is the formal end of the meeting. Once the chair calls an adjournment and drops that gavel, the whole thing is shut down. It's officially over. Probably the best word of the night, right?
Section 4, Official Records. After the gavel falls, so the meeting is adjourned, and we enter the final phase, documenting the action for history. Let's break down these paper trails. Minutes are the official record of what the board actually decided. The motions, the votes, the actions taken. They're explicitly not a word-for-word transcript of all the dialogue. Next up is a resolution. This is a formal, written statement used for significant actions that need extra documentation beyond a normal vote. And then there's the consent agenda. This is where routine items like minor budget approvals or past minutes are bundled together and approved in a single massive vote. These are huge time savers for everyone.
And just like that, congratulations. You are officially bilingual. Your second language is board. Look, you don't need to memorize every single detail before your next meeting, but you now have the foundational toolkit to actually follow what's happening and ask the right questions. And honestly, the best part? Unlike high school French, you are actually going to use this language every single month.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought. Now that you speak the language, what will you say at your next meeting? I challenge you to take this newfound confidence, step up, use your procedural toolkit to keep order, and actually make your voice heard in the boardroom. Thanks for learning with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.